So we got the second video in the reviewing subscriber gameplay series. All the things you can see there on screen, like I said previously, are all the things I'm going to be looking for and analysing. And in this video, we're going to be covering Helios' video on Al-Marj Conquest, where he's using the typical ZK. So getting straight into it, at the start of the game here, you can see, look, right at the top there, the enemy has just captured D flag, and look how many teammates we've got on C flag, and he's going to push into and onto C flag. Look, there's no enemies there, there is no red bar, so the first thing there is just a rotational mistake. The play there would have been to go straight towards D flag, using the main power position of the house. If you can get there first, you can catch all the enemies who have just captured D flag, and now going to be pushing towards C and B flag. So, could have rotated a lot earlier there, but, he picks up 2 or 3 kills, but he could have had 5 to 10 kills if he'd gone to D in the first place. But he's now going to move to the power position here on the house. This is the main power position for this map. And the mistake here, you can see, look in the bottom right, he changes to his smoke launcher, so it's being over-aggressive. He changes to his smoke launcher before pushing through the doorway. As soon as you've got that smoke launcher out, you're vulnerable, you can't fight back. So he's pulled that out way too early and then ran around a corner where there could have been multiple enemies, in which case there was an enemy. If he had his gun out, he could have fought the enemy, killed him, and then gone for the smoke launcher. But so there's going to be some really, really good play here now. Really fast, quick movement, which you'll see with a high FOV, high sensitivity player using a ZK. So this is very good. But you did see he did use and has gone for again same sort of style, classic player using smokes to push. This is perfectly fine. I typically generally prefer not to use smokes to push like that. I prefer to utilize cover rotation and be really, really good at cover rotation, using cover and running to and from different points of cover to travel across the map. If you use smoke, you just get disorientated in it. You might run out of the smoke into an area you didn't think you were running out into, and you can run into 10 enemies and you've got no cover. So I personally do not prefer that, but of course it can be made to work. Now the habit of using smokes actually gets him killed here. He knows the enemies are up on the right, look, he's throwing the smoke down, which he doesn't need to do. Look, the enemies are literally right there. All he has to do is turn and shoot the enemies, but he puts a smoke down first, and look, misses loads of shots here, gets disorientated by the smoke, and all he had to do is just run up the stairs, turn and shoot them. But you throw the smoke down, you waste loads of time throwing the smoke down, and then of course you miss loads of shots, because it has made it hard to see what you're trying to shoot at. So here we got 2 small gunfights, and the main thing here, which you can see, is he goes into this gunfight here, is left on half health with 11 bullets left. There's 2 enemies in front of him, and he tries to take them on with less than half health and 11 bullets. In that scenario there, he just needs to, as soon as he turns around and he's got half health and less than half a magazine left, he needs to jump and go to cover first so he can regain health to be able to at least have a chance of taking on 2 enemies, and to be able to reload, so he's got enough bullets to take on 2 enemies as well. So he's very lucky to survive there, but is now going to push towards E flag. And this is kind of my example here again of using smoke and just being a little bit disorientated, and you haven't got any physical cover really there to use. So that's the problem with using smokes all the time. You don't have physical cover to actually stop bullets going through smoke as well. So it is a very risk and reward gameplay style. So here we have a good example. I'm going to climb up and take out these 2 enemies really nicely. Maybe could shoot them instead of using the knife, because if you go with a knife, it gives a lot of time during the animation of getting the kill for doing the knife for the other enemy there to turn around, to realize and to turn around and shoot you. But look, again, a really nice position to take up. You can see down on top of all the enemies that are going to be pushing in towards the flag from this spawn. So again, really good. And if you can see in the flags at the top here, the enemy has captured A. Of course, his side are capturing C and D, but look how many teammates we've got on their home flag. The enemies, of course, are not going to spawn in their spawn and want to get spawn trapped on E flag. Plus, he's got all of his teammates there on E flag competing for kills, where there's only going to be 1 or 2 kills a minute or so coming from this enemy spawn. And so look, he's identified that and is now rotating back, which is really good, towards A, and of course they are now capturing B, as I predicted. So he's now pushed towards B flag to try to take on this group of enemies, which are going to be pushing towards him. And again, you're going to see another scenario where smoke is going to cause problems, because he gets a nice flank here on a few enemies, but the smoke means he can't see what he's shooting at, and instead of staying in the building, which is perfect cover to use him to defend, he has to push out into smoke. You know, again, is missing a lot of shots, can't see what he's shooting at, and results in a death. Like I said, it's risk versus reward, but you're going to take a lot of, you know, deaths when playing using the method of using smoke to be able to rotate and to travel around the map. And every death wastes 30 seconds to a minute of actual in-game time, because you're going to be in the death screen waiting for a revive, or trying to spawn in again, and you're going to spawn in at a location you don't want to spawn in at. You know, so every death is wasted time. So ideally, you know, smokes is a risk versus reward scenario, but you do get a lot of deaths with it, and waste a lot of time. So after clearing B flag, we have another good rotational example here. You can see the enemy has got A and E flag, with A being obviously Helios's spawn flag. So instead of pushing to A flag, where once you've captured it, you've got to run all the way back across the map because, you know, the enemies aren't spawning there anyway. So you can see here, like, he's thinking to go to C, but they captured it. He's going to move back and start going towards E flag, and of course he's pushing towards D flag as well, where the enemies are going to be going to as their first point to capture from E flag. So again, a good rotational example here, and it's now going to again use smokes and engage the enemy. And here you're going to see some good movement. Again, using smokes there, which, you know, again isn't 100% necessary, but you know, it's using good movement, and you'll see in just a second. He does miss a few shots here, but as he pushes back towards E flag after taking out the enemies on D flag, you can see here he's being cautious and he's using good cover here, look, rather than being aggressive and pushing in when he doesn't need to, because he doesn't know how many enemies are there. Here in the scenario, after picking up these 2 kills here, you can see he pushes straight out and doesn't check right first. The right here is a very long straight corridor where he's got an SMG. If an enemy is down that long straight corridor with a semi-automatic rifle and he's not checked it first and is also stood still in the middle of that, you know, that pathway to then look down there, you know, he's dead if there is an enemy there with a long range weapon. So in that scenario there, you either check right before running across, or you just run straight across. Don't stop in the middle and check right. But again, here picks up another really good few kills. Lovely headshot with a revolver from a noob enemy, but still every kill's a kill in those 100 games. 100 kills even against easy enemies is very good. And there's, you know, unlucky that an enemy comes from behind him. His teammates should have killed that enemy there. So now we have a really good here of positioning and also shielding using the 4 walls. As you can see here, he's got 2 walls up, you know, in front of him there and on his left, depending on which way he wants to face. But you know, that's perfect cover from 50% of all angles which enemies could attack him from. If you're thinking about a level playing ground, don't worry about above or below. You know, unfortunately here, takes a death is just, you know, challenging an MMG player with an SMG. If you take fire there in that scenario, you need to just get the hell out of there. Don't bother challenging it, because if you die, of course, you waste a minute or 2. So we're coming towards the end of this game now. The enemies have only got their last flag there, E, and they're getting pushed into a spawn trap. So he's going to push towards there and pick up loads of really nice kills. Here, he could go towards E flag, where, look, there's none of his teammates on the map, and it's exactly where all the enemies are going to be spawning. But he still does get lucky and manages to pick up quite a few kills, you know, in this building here, before finishing the game off there with just an unfortunate death. But overall, you know, there's many positives, such as, you know, his aim, the recoil control is definitely there, centering, strafing, movement, all the things you class with a high FOV, high sensitivity player. However, the main improvements I would say to finish the video is cover rotation without using smoke, and just being less aggressive, because overall both of those things, if you improve on those both things, you'll have less deaths, and less deaths, you know, in this means less time spent in the spawn screen or in the death screen, and it means more time to get more kills. I really hope everyone watching this has found any of the tips and advice which I've given useful. Please smash the like, and of course I will see you on the next episode.
Warriors around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it.